With the ending of the first quarter of every new year comes the Apple event. This event serves as a sort of announcement program for Apple to talk about their new products that will soon be hitting the shelves. At this point, everyone already knows Apple as one of, if not the biggest tech company in the world. As such, a lot of eager Apple fans and even casuals tune in for the event. As such, we have helped you round up the top 5 Apple products revealed during the event, so stick around till the end of the video. Some of these products are real shockers. iPhone new colors. So the first thing that kicked things off was 2 new iPhone colors. There's a bold green for the iPhone 13 and an alpine green for the iPhone 13 Pro. Apple's beginning to enter a rhythm with this, where they release a whole bunch of safe colors at launch, but then as soon as that new iPhone stops feeling like a new iPhone, they drop a much bolder color to reinvigorate interest. Fundamentally, it just increases their profits, because you gotta remember that the production of a smartphone gets cheaper over the course of that smartphone's lifetime, as the cost of components falls and the economies of scale rise. iPhone SE 3. But it's not just new colors, there's also a new iPhone, the iPhone SE 3. Apple released an iPhone SE in 2020. It was this $399 entry-level iPhone that was built to be a really powerful net to reel in more budget-conscious consumers into Apple's ecosystem. And so, this time around, they basically taken that same phone, bumped up the price to $429, and refreshed it. They swapped out the chipset from Apple's A13 to Apple's A15, which alone should give it about 40 to 50% more performance. They've upgraded the glass construction. They've added in 5G, and they also apparently have improved battery efficiency. This is really important considering the fact that their last iPhone SE barely hit 4 hours of screen on time, which was a major cause for concern. And so, if you're considering this phone, I would strongly recommend you just hang on and wait to see how much they've actually improved that battery life by. With the A15 chip, however, you're getting the kind of performance that beats out Samsung's brand new $1,100 Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. But other aspects of the iPhone SE are right out of 2017, although the body looks exactly like the 2020 version. In addition to that, the performance upgrades are sure to pull more customers in. M1 iPad Air. To be honest, Apple is usually pretty good at keeping its products simple, but its iPad lineup is very intimidating to navigate. If you would like a video on us explaining all the iPad lineups, put it in the comments below. But anyways, back to the iPads. It's not like the iPhones where you have the mini, the normal size one, and then right at the top, the Pros. With the iPads, you have the normal size iPad at the bottom, and then above that is the mini, which is a premium iPad that's small. Then the iPad Air, which is a premium iPad that's normal sized, but focused on being thin. And then the iPad Pro, which is the premium iPad with extra power user features. And on top of that, some of these iPads support the Apple Pencil, while others don't. And then some of them support the Apple's Magic Keyboard, while some don't as well. Anyways, the new iPad that we just got is an update to the iPad Air, and it somehow managed to be both a simple, safe refresh, but at the same time, kind of unbelievable. See, the way that Apple tends to update their iPads is that they start with the iPad Pro, because obviously pros want the latest features early. And then, over the course of the next year, they update the rest of their lineup to keep parity with it. So in 2021, Apple upgraded their iPad Pros to come with their new own custom-built laptop class M1 chipset, which is about 50 that sits in their iPhone 13s. And now, almost a year later, they've just brought that same M1 chipset to the iPad Air, alongside a few new software features and a faster USB-C board. M1 Ultra. In November 2020, Apple announced that they were going to start to pivot away from using Intel chips to power their machines, to using Apple's own chips, starting with the M1. And there are some obvious reasons for this. It gives Apple control of how much improvement they want to make each year. And it massively increases their profit margins by removing Intel as the middleman. But the biggest improvement that you'll notice as a consumer is the ridiculous levels of efficiency. Apple has just released the most souped up version of this M1 chip, In 2020, we had the original M1. In 2021, we saw the M1 Pro with 2 times the performance of that, and the M1 Max with 3.5 times the performance of that. But now, in 2022, we have the M1 Ultra. What Apple has effectively done here is built a system such that you can attach 2 of these M1 Max chips together in such a way that they are saying there are no efficiency reductions, and you get a straight up doubling of the CPU performance and the GPU performance. So compared to the original M1, they are saying that this is 8 times faster, and at the same time, because they originated from a mobile chip, 65% more power efficient than an equivalent desktop class chip. And the first machine to show off this whole thing off is the Mac Studio. Basically a Mac Mini, but thick. This monster is going to have up to 128 gigabytes of RAM and 8 terabyte SSD. This will be the most powerful Apple Silicon powered machine ever. And based on my experience of Apple Silicon, I think that for Apple's first party optimized apps, it's going to absolutely fly. The power of this monster can't be overlooked. It fits underneath your display, it's almost completely silent, and yet is cranking out enough performance to power 4 of Apple's highest end 6K displays and a 4K TV on top of that. This thing can run 18 streams of 8K ProRes video at the same time, and they're saying that the graphics on this thing are as powerful as the most powerful GPU that you can get on the market while using 1/3 of the power. But before you get ahead of yourself, Apple didn't specify where these performance numbers came from, so whilst they are usually pretty bang on with their estimates, I would imagine that they've done most of their testing using Apple's own first-party apps, which are properly optimized to make most of their M1 chips, like a Final Cut Pro for example. While these first-party apps do perform staggeringly well with Apple's own chip, it's the third-party apps like the entire Adobe editing suite and the whole load of games that don't perform so optimally. And the second thing is, it's not really a caveat, but it's more of a reminder that this new lineup Apple's creating, the studio set of products, is not their top tier lineup. Like, even though they're comparing themselves to big fat desktops, the way to think about Apple's Mac Studio is really as the mid-range part of their future lineup. Because of the fact that they've managed to build this ability to be able to just chain Apple chips together like they're pieces of Legos, makes me pretty sure that when we do see the Pro version of this lineup later this year, that they will completely dwarf even this one. So if you're not in any hurry and you do want the best of the best, I would still advise that you hang on. With all that being said, what do you think of this new Apple event? Which product will you be purchasing? Do you think Apple has something in store more powerful than the M1 Ultra? Do let us know in the comments down below. Anyways, we'll see you in the next video.